Shalom Israel, quick video. You know, the other one hopefully is edifying. Just a real quick one. This is an observation, in the Spanish language. And, the Spanish language, as you see here on the screen, and is Y in Spanish, which is pronounced E, as I've looked up. And, you know, this is what Y looks like in Hebrew. This is what and looks like in Hebrew. Where is it? Right here. Y. See that? That's how the character looks. Which means Y means and. So when we say Yahweh, Y, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, basically and Yahweh Shai. So this is a similar to. This is similar thing because in every language, we got scattered across the world and we spoke different languages, even spoke Greek, Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. And, Spanish is a derivative, if I'm saying it right, hopefully, of Spanish. Of Latin. So, so-called Mexicans are our people and the so-called Latinos are our people. They even have the lost lunar stone, and she's going to explain it. That's found in Mexico, a mystery stone. It's called the Lost Lunar Stone or the Commandment Rock, and it has Paleo Hebrew on it. Can't make this stuff up, man. So, let me see if she'll say it again. Let me see. Lost Lunar Stone in Mexico. Nah, come on, man. Paleo Hebrew stone in Mexico.
According to Wikipedia, the stone is also known as the Las Lunas Mystery Stone or Commandment Rock. The stone has gained notoriety in that some claim the inscription is pre-Columbian, and therefore proof of early Semitic.
Come on, this double, man. The Columbian, therefore proof of early Semitic contact with the Americas, man. We are those Semitic people. And in languages, different codes in languages, and they have some significance to our connection because that's why you can interpret from one language to the other. They all have something similar in them, and there's a language is a code, and they have code meanings, and in those code meanings is our language and different things that in the language itself, whether it be pronunciation or the word itself or a letter, a character, to our similarities as being the 12 tribes of Israel. So, um, and like I said, Spanish. If you look, let me see. If you, I'll say it. What is the Spanish language derived from?
Spoken Latin. According to Wikipedia, the language known today as Spanish is derived from spoken Latin, which was brought to the Iberian Peninsula by the Romans after their occupation of the peninsula that started in the late 3rd century BC.
Yeah, so does it ever the history ever teach over here in America that the so-called Mexicans were captives of Rome? Well, how does it relate that like we said, we go into the Hebrew, Greek, and Latin for a reason. That was written above Yahweh Shai when they slew him and hung him on a tree. An inscription, Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, King James Version. It says Luke 23 and 38, and the superscription also written over him, and letters were of Greek and Latin and Hebrew. This is the King of the Jews. So that means we were scattered in places and scattered speaking. We were speaking Greek. That's what during the Hellenistic time era, and we are speaking Latin even today. And even some of our people still speak Greek or a form of Greek even today. but Latin and Hebrew. And some speak. You know, some of us into the Syrian Hebrew from certain schools we used to be involved with. You know, and things of that matter. You know, so today, you know, lot of the division is because of language barrier also, and that's what going back to the Tower of Babel. If you can't understand each other, then you can't do anything. You can't build. You can't communicate. You can't come together at all because you don't understand each other. Most High said He confounded their language so they can understand each other's speech. Um, Even doing talking in tongues in Corinthians, it's talking about different languages. Because Paul said, um, if I don't have an interpreter, I'll be as a speak as a barbarian. You know, um, so you have to understand speech. You have to understand definition of words. You have to understand and even certain pronunciations or things that people in other countries have according to their language and the words that they speak, the language they speak, uh, what meaning it is. You know, like we said, we use some of those terms. Bitch is just a female dog. You know, fuck is fornication under the consent of the king. Um, you got they had it in. I think Martin Lawrence had it when he did Black Knight. He had it, and I think Jim Carrey did it in Mask, if I'm not mistaken, as a form of greeting. They spit in, they had to do the dude spit in your face or whatever, So, but they was just showing that it's different forms in the ways that people have according to their customs. How they greet or how they speak to the other party, and that's heavy in language too. What was another one we used? Ass is a donkey. That's not like it's not a bad word. That's in the Bible, But if you say it in your household, your mother say, "Well, quit that cussing." Well, that's in the Bible, you know. Female dog. It doesn't say the word bit. It doesn't use that bitch term, but female dog is in the Bible. It says a shameful woman should be counted as a dog, and which is a female dog, which is a bitch. So, certain things that's watered down, that's offensive here in language and different terms is not so offensive on the other side, you know. So, and it's a lot of things that they marginalize in here according to, language, speech, dialogue, and what kind of, you know, um, just like they now they changing it. You can't, call um, transgender a thing, or you can't be disrespectful with your words, or with babies you can no longer say. They don't have that in law right now, but they talking about babies and shit. Or talking about if a woman want to be dressed as a sir, you call her sir. And these they changing the dynamics of the ancient law and ancient speech, which was more concrete and more um, understandable through similarities and even similitudes like Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. So this English thing, hey, English it's not American language. It's from England, which England means land of the angels. So they were speaking pretty sure other languages too. Those were us. We're the people. We're the angels of the angel of the land, so to speak. We're the saints. We're the people of God. So we were speaking Hebrew, and you know, even in our different, picking up different languages or whatever, speaking Greek and Latin, and when approached Paul, when they said to Paul, "Aren't thou Egyptian, and thou speakest Greek?" So why would he ask him if he speak Greek if he's an Egyptian? That's not the Egyptian language. Egyptian are Africans, so that's not an African language. But diaspora and the scattering, and uh, then you would pick up different languages. You know, um, so if you were born in a so-called Spanish home, you're a so-called Mexican, you have a family here, and your mother's from Mexico. Well, and she moved here and then had you. Well, you're gonna grow up speaking Spanish and English, because you're gonna start going to these English schools, and you're gonna start having friends that speak English. You know, so you growing up with basically two languages in the beginning of your childhood um, years. So it becomes natural, man. And they say, well, why don't we speak Hebrew if we the real Jews? Well, because we got scattered and we got cut off from our heritage, so to speak. But you do got some Hebrews that speak fluent Hebrew. They're not on a lot. They might not be on the internet, but you got some that grew up in a Hebrew family that speak Hebrew. You know, um, and some even Yiddish because they grew up, in that other, under that other family. They might have a, married. Their mother married a Jewish person, a small hat, but they adopted you. But you still had a Negro father, but she just left him and married this Jewish person, and now the child is like 5 years old, but you're gonna start to learn Yiddish or some form of German mixed Hebrew or whatever. Which we got a pure language going back to the Lashawan Kodash means language, holy language. We read everything from right to left. So it's Lashawan Kodash, but you read it right from left. It's Kodash Lashawan, which means holy tongue. So there's similarities, man. And if you dig deep in some information of history, you know, uh, extended history beyond American history, you'll find these special things of language and even of culture and history and of that relates to us being Israelites overall as a whole house of Israel. You know, so just like it's almost like the fringes that the Native and so-called Native Americans wore. You know, that's a custom of ours to wear fringes in the border of our garments, man. And you can see old pictures of Gadites, so-called Native Americans, wearing those garments. Reubenites wearing those garments. Tribes wearing the garments and things similar, very similar, or if not exact, to what the scriptures say, man. So that's what we focus on, those languages: Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. You know, English, we already know English. And we do it with stammering lips. We don't speak perfect English. There's a such thing as Old English, and if you hear the Old English speakers, they more pronounced with their word, more eloquent with their speech. Their words are more pronounced, if you will. So even when if an American try to correct you, they don't even speak the real English that was spoken in back in the old world. So this is a real watered down society, world of education and teaching, and even levels of course, deceit if you're not careful and looking to these things, to study these things and to look into real history beyond America. So yeah, I just wanted this, quick observation, man. You know, and I don't think there's no coincidence. You know. Also, the so-called Mexicans, they call their mother ama, which is the Hebrew word for mother. That's an actual Hebrew word for mother. They didn't know. They didn't know that was a Hebrew word for mother. They didn't know they was a part of the 12 tribes, but that's what they grew up calling their mother, ama. You know, or ama. You know, but it's still the same Hebrew word as mother. Anyway, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadash. You know, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, great millstone, my salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect, most high will. To the scattered Israelite in the four corners, Israelite foreigners, you know, the hopeful elect, extended hopeful elect, men, women, and children, you know, salutations. And, you know, we're suffering right now, but we're about to, you know, that's about to change. You know, anyway, to the next video. Shalom.